Red Death, the first main villain of Flash Season 9, a villain that has so much anticipation, so much hype around it, is a complete failure. I'm not gonna lie, Red Death is pathetic. So today, let's talk about the 5 episodes Red Death was in and talk about why Red Death truly did not reach her potential as a great evil villain. Now, starting it off, the first thing I want to talk about of why Red Death sucked is the lack of backstory. Guys, it's so crazy to say this, but the most backstory we ever got about Red Death was right here in episode 9x4, where Ryan Wilder, aka Red Death, comes to Iris and pretends to be the good guy, but then later reveals that she's from a different timeline. And basically, she goes on to say she's actually the good guy in her world, but she decided to start stealing the Flash's abilities in her timeline because she thought having the abilities of the Flash would help her eliminate all the evil. The Flash from her timeline wasn't okay with this because she could easily misuse the power, so they get into a big fight in her timeline, and then she explains that the Flash was winning the fight, so she went into the Speed Force to like hide away from him. It didn't work because she's not actually a speedster, blah blah blah, and then she got kicked out of it, and now she ended up here in this timeline. I know, a lot of gibberish, but that's the technical terms of what happened and why she's here now. Now, my problem with this whole backstory that I just gave you is that this much information for a villain is actually good. It's good if it was a side villain. If it was a side villain, this much information about them would be fine, that's fine. But this is one of the main villains of the entire show, and this is all we know. That's all we know about this curly haired little Batwoman girl. That's all we know. We know nothing about her past, we know nothing about her past life, nothing about her being a savior of her city, nothing about how she was able to replicate the artificial speed, like how did she even become a speedster in the first place? Nothing. Which overall just makes us feel less connected to her whole story. If they spent more time maybe showing her in her other timeline, maybe her doing all these other things, maybe us viewers, we would feel more connected to her, you know, we would have that more connection with her. But because of this lack of backstory and us not really knowing much about her, everything she did from that point on kind of just didn't mean much to us. We didn't really care that much. Like, whatever, do your thing, girl. Whatever, go ahead, girl. And I actually think that's a very important point because it leads to a bigger problem we had with Red Death, which is there wasn't enough emotional investment for us viewers to have with Red Death. Okay, now guys, be honest with me. You guys can comment right now. Comment whatever you want. Just be honest right now. When Red Death got punched in the face right here and, you know, she lost the fight, did any of us actually care? Were any of us like, oh, no, she lost the fight, oh my god, no. Like, did any of us actually do that? No, we didn't. No. Look at me. No, we didn't. We did not. Do you guys want to know why? Do you want to know why, guys? I can tell you. You want to know? I'll tell you. It's because we weren't emotionally invested with Red Death. You guys remember when we would watch like Savitar's arc or Reverse Flash's arc, and we would actually feel emotionally connected to the characters? We would start caring for the characters. We would start loving them a little bit. We would actually side with them here and there. The reason behind that is because usually the show would give us like some vulnerable moment about that character, which helped us build a connection with them. Do you guys get what I'm saying? Like, let's take an example from season 3 Flash, Savitar's case, right? Episode 3x22. Not only did we get more backstory about Savitar, but we got that emotional, vulnerable moment that helped us connect with him. He tells us right here that Team Flash had shunned him and he was abandoned by everyone that loved him, which is what made him turn into Savitar. Remember that? That right there is a great vulnerable moment. We can be like, oh, there's actually like, you know, there's some reasoning behind it. He was hurt by them. Oh, I get it. It makes sense. And then you start falling in love with the character. You start like making sense of it. You're like, oh, I can see why he did that. He was shunned, you know? Like, we start connecting the pieces and it starts becoming more good. But with Red Death, we had none of that. We never had a moment where she was like, I was shunned away. She literally just told us she wanted to be a good hero, and then she stole Flash's abilities, and now she's here. That's it. That's literally it. Like, how do you expect us viewers to like engage with her or like emotionally relate? We don't care. She just sounds like a loser, bro. And hey, you know what? Maybe, just maybe, it's not the show's fault. Maybe they don't have enough time for that. There's only 5 episodes for her. Maybe they don't have time to like show her in a nice different light, you know? But I think if they were truly a good show and they knew what we wanted, they would make time. They would simply make time. They would cut out some Chester Allegra moment and they would make time. But nope, ladies and gentlemen, episode 9x6, the next episode coming out, is all about Keon, this side character. Okay, now you know what? You guys got it, bro. तुझे देखा तो ये जाना सनम प्यार होता है दीवाना सनम. Guys, I want to love the show so bad. But you guys, I don't know how. Red Death was a flop. And the worst part is, instead of CW trying to make her a, you know, emotional character, a character with depth, they just present her as a screaming lunatic character. Now, the next big thing that needs to be talked about that's ruined Red Dead's entire arc storyline is the actual plotline itself being too rushed. Now, once again, don't come in the comments saying, oh, but they only have 5 episodes, because they could have at least made it 6. First off, we have to argue this. Why couldn't they just have made it 6? Because as we all know, if you saw the next trailer, it's literally just all about Keone, this Caitlyn side character. So first off, it could have been 6, and second of all, I'm just saying my point of view, okay? I still have to say it. I don't care if they're in a time crunch. Figure it out. You are a multi-million-dollar network. Figure something out, okay? Because I noticed a lot of people just like hiding behind that fact, like, oh, they only had 5 episodes. Suck it up. You made that choice, right? You made the choice of having 5 episodes. At least coordinate it right, bro. Like, what are we doing? Anyways, going back to the point of the plotline being too rushed, I can perfectly highlight and show you that Red Dead's entire plotline was rushed by giving you this fact right here. Episode 9x3 is where Red Dead reveals her plan of using the cosmic treadmill. So stay with me, guys. In episode 9x3, we know her plan, right? Tell me why 2 episodes later, 9x4, 9x5, and now Red Dead is done. She's dead. Like, her entire arc is done. So we find out her plan 2 episodes before, and then now she's dead. That's it. That's it. It's done. Like, guys, usually, let's take an example. Season 1, Reverse Flash. We found out his plan, like, maybe, like, I'd say halfway through. Maybe we found out his plan, like, you know, episode 12, 13. And then we have a little bit of time to see, like, how Flash Time reacts to the plan. And then we have time to see how, like, they adjust their plan. And then miraculously, you know, Flash stops his plan. But then there's a twist. He has a backup plan. You know, we go back and forth on these little dynamics. Flash team, villain. Flash team, villain. Flash team, villain. This little back and forth dynamic, this motion right here, this interesting motion right here is what keeps everything engaging, because, you know, we're always on our feet. We're always moving around. But here in this situation, episode 3, we find the plan. Episode 4, the plan fails. Episode 5, she dies. Well, I don't know if she dies or whatever, but, like, she's done. She loses here, and, like, her arc is ended right here. That's it. It's done. Like, weren't you guys expecting her to have a backup plan in case the cosmic treadmill didn't work? But no. After her cosmic treadmill literally breaks down, she has no other hope. Did you guys notice that? She didn't, like, try to do any new different moves. All she does is try to beat up the Flash, and she loses, and then she dies. Like, lady, what was your plan on getting home after the treadmill? All you did is summon a little bit more minions, but that's it. What is your plan now, bro? Like, what? And now, before we move on to the next and final reason, I actually want to talk to you guys just one-on-one. Guys, let me know what you personally think, but I actually would have loved if we had, like, one final really good villain, you know? Because everyone's been commenting in my Discord and my YouTube video telling me there's multiple villains, which is, it's cool, I guess, but, like, this is what happens when you only give 5 episodes per villain. So the next villain we're having, Cobalt Blue, he's only gonna have, like, 5-6 episodes as well, right? So it's gonna be rushed. It's gonna be the same way. I don't see how the difference is gonna happen. You get what I'm saying? And I'm only saying this because I know personally a lot of you guys are loving that there's new villains, a lot of new different people. But me personally, I would have loved if there was one really good main villain and they have a really rich, strong plot that I could have just connected to. But now the final main reason I think Red Death in her entire arc was a flop doesn't have anything to do with her plot, her backstory, anything else. It actually has to do with her acting. But before we talk about this big final point, let's talk about some good things she brought into the show, because I did notice some good things this villain had, and you know, they were pretty refreshing. The first positive thing that I have to talk about is that she's actually very scary with a mask on. Wait, make sure you heard me right, because this is important. She was scary with her mask on. Like, genuinely, I was actually scared sometimes with her mask on. Like, when she did her little one-liners here and there with her mask on, like, it is my era, it is the Red Death era, that was actually powerful. That was empowering. Just watch the scene right here.
I just need to know what it is you want and who you really are.
You want to know who I am? I'm the last glimmer of crimson Achilles sees before he draws his final breath. I am vengeance. I am the night. I am the Red Death.
Like, I don't know, that made me feel some type of way. I was like, okay, like, I could kind of mess with that. Like, that was cool right there. Okay. Also, on top of that, I think her fight scenes with the Flash were actually really good. Like, her final fight scene in episode 9x5 was actually really good. They're both running through the city, they're throwing things at each other, blah, blah, blah. It literally reminded me of Zoom and Flash all the way back, like, 8 years ago. But it's actually funny, like, if you notice the difference, here, now we're throwing, like, little, like, balls of things at each other, and the Red Death is galloping with a little, like, with a lasso. Like... Still good, I'm not hating, but it's just like, it's interesting how they like add these new things in. Why are we doing lassos, bro? Okay, but now enough of the good things. Red Death, you got your little flowers, that's it. Now let's talk about the biggest problem you have. You with your mask off. Because like I just said, you with your mask on, a very scary thing, good job. But you with your mask off is unbearable. Like, let's start with the first time you ever had your mask off. I am vengeance. Watch the scene.
I am vengeance.
You watched the scene? No, you didn't. Watch the scene again.
Vengeance.
I'm pretty sure, like, I don't watch Batwoman, but like she's like one of the main characters in Batwoman, right? Isn't she Batwoman? Why does it look like she doesn't know how to act? Why are you saying the lines like this, bro? Are you what? It's stuff like this that throws us off and like makes us lose connection to the villains. And then fast forward to the end of episode 9x4, where she's super mad that Flash ruined her plan or whatever, and she did this. Can't even say it, bro. She does this stupid thing where she like looks up and like says, "I'm gonna bring the war to him." Like, oh, just watch the scene.
This time, we will bring the war to him!
I'm not gonna lie, lady. I'm not gonna lie, lady. You're not him. You're not him, lady. Chill out, okay? You're not him. Oh, and also, don't forget, at the end of episode 9x5, she also does this. Now guys, the reason this is important is because, like, think about if you, Barthon, like a super scary villain, started acting like this. We would lose so much, like, respect for the character that we would just stop caring about what they're doing. Like, after I saw Red Death act like this, I was like, what the? Get away from me. Like, I lost all respect for her, all emotional connection. I'm like, okay, you know what? Just die. I don't care anymore. So sure, your plot was rushed, there's not enough backstory, but now that I see that you as a character can't even act and portray yourself well, it's just very hard for me to connect with you. After you combine all the reasons I talked about today and put them in one package, you can see why Red Death was a really, really unbearable villain to a lot of people. And it is for these reasons why I said in the title, Red Death's arc was pathetic.